When I started this channel, everything said that it would take a year before anything real would happen. I had about 16 or 17 subscribers, depending on the day, and half were probably friends and family. Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome back to Star Wars Relics. It was August 24th, 12:30 at night, when my wife woke me up and asked, "Have you looked at your YouTube channel?" I looked at her with a WTF expression and asked her, "Why would I look at my YouTube channel?" My Death Star Droid episode had over 400 views, and my subscribers had ballooned to 27. I was up until 3 a.m. that night. I don't know why, but the YouTube algorithm selected that video to show to people. It is by far my most watched video, with over 23,000 views. But with that came comments, both positive and a couple of negative ones. A lot of people had differing opinions, and a couple of people were very helpful. But honestly, I was not ready, but wow, was it exciting. What is probably the most informative comment I've received so far came from Charles Manilock, who pointed out that the antenna on the power droid is actually an exhaust, meaning he's essentially a walking power generator. It's a great observation and absolutely deserves more than the 2 likes. I have to admit, when I read that comment, I suddenly saw it. The antenna really does look like an exhaust. Then came the growing disappointment of realizing they were using fossil fuels in a galaxy far, far away. I had always imagined him as a walking battery, generating power on his own. Thank you for that fantastic insight. Trevor Wilson 3698 pointed out that there is a power droid waddling around the Death Star hangar after they capture the Falcon. And you are 100% correct. In my defense, there are a lot of stormtroopers and Darth Vader in the scene, and it's hard to take your eyes off of them. Thank you for catching that one. And one thing nobody mentioned, there is another power droid I completely missed at the Mos Eisley roadblock. So yes, my video was even worse than you thought. Moving on. The biggest pushback I've received so far has been about the Death Star droid, which honestly surprised me because I didn't think I had made any hot takes. In my video, I argued that the Death Star droid should have been called the Imperial Spy Droid and suggested that he was probably the one who directed the stormtroopers to the Lars moisture farm. But people really zeroed in on the name issue. I'm aware of the Ralph McQuarrie concept art and the photo of the Death Star droid in what looks like the detention block. Early on, the concept showed him as silver, and they even built a silver costume, which is the one we later see in the Sandcrawler. But during the production, they consciously went with the black version instead, moving him away from the original Death Star setting. So yes, I believe that the Death Star droid name was decided early on, but the final choices took him off the Death Star. The name was never updated, so I pretty much stand by my original assertions. Pantechnicon pointed out that the red snaggletooth was actually a correction of the blue version. Which came first? I first discovered Star Wars in 1981 while we were living in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, between the release of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The Cantina Adventure set never made it to Europe, so I had no idea that either it or the blue snaggletooth even existed until the late 90s or early 2000s. For me, the red one was the only snaggletooth for a long time. It never occurred to me that one came before the other or that the first one was actually a mistake. Thank you to Pantechnicon for taking the time to fill me in. Big thanks to Biofactory1, who put me on the trail of The Art of Star Wars, edited by Carol Titleman. The book came with numerous concept drawings along with the script of the movie. Far more interesting than I thought it would be. Thanks to the script, I learned that this guy gets the stormtroopers that look into Obi-Wan's incident in the cantina. Thank you, Biofactory1. You helped make this channel better. After my Walrus Man episode, James Miller reached out to me on Facebook and sent me pictures of his own updated Walrus Man. This looks absolutely amazing. It looks like he got a Walrus Man head onto a Han Solo body and then put the most amazingly accurate paint job on the figure. But to top it off, the arm is removable. You did an amazing job. You are very talented. If you made your own updated version of a Star Wars figure, I really want to see it. Visit the Star Wars Relics Facebook page and post your picture. I'm a huge fan of fan art, and you can expect me to work it in somewhere. If I made a mistake, don't hesitate to tell me all about it. The last thing I want to do is keep spreading bad information. If you have a sense of humor, you really should be leaving more comments. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel grow. I'm curious to see how this episode goes over. Until next time, take care.